Videos. My name is Vince. I'm the technical support person here on staff today, and what I'm holding here in my hand today, this little silver box, is a microinverter made by Enphase. This is one of the hottest trends going in the PV industry today. Today's video, we're going to show you how to install these, explain a little bit how they work, and how to install them using ET modules and IronRidge racking system. So let's go over and take a look. Okay, before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about how the microinverters operate. Just like their big brothers, the central inverters and string inverters, microinverters convert DC to AC. They have the same anti-alienating characteristics, grid-tied interactive as they do. The difference is their maximum power point tracking feature is going to be accomplished at the module itself. This is a huge benefit and improves overall the performance of the whole array. Okay, to better explain that, a standard string of modules using a string inverter, for example, if one module were to shade, it would affect the entire string's performance, bring it down, along with the entire array. If the system, on the other hand, were equipped with microinverters, if that one module were to shade, only the performance of that module's would be reduced. The entire string could still put out its full performance in the entire array. This is the reason why micros work so well on applications where normally a string inverter may not work because of the shading. Also, it lends itself to jobs where different orientations. With these jobs, and actually any system, microinverters improve the overall performance. Okay, let's take a look at some of the physical characteristics of the microinverter. First of all, you see this mounting bracket. The micro will actually mount directly on the railing system. Now we're using IronRidge, which uses an extruded slot that accepts a 1/4-20 stainless steel inverted bolt, and we'll show you that once we get started. As far as the electrical goes, you can see right off to the side here is the DC connections. Those are standard MC3 connectors. And then you'll notice this cord. Well, this is the AC side cord. It's male-female that connect to the other micros. Now remember, these aren't in a series anymore. This is AC current, and they'll be in actually a parallel AC arrangement. Okay, the first step will be to take the mounting bracket provided by Enphase and mount it to an approved watertight connection box. This is where our AC connections will be completed at. The bracket and box will then be installed on the end of the rail, and then the bolts provided on the extruded top rail will then be tightened and secure the bracket and watertight box to the railing system. The installer will then run a bare ground wire, the length of the railing and the length of the string, to be used as an electrode grounding wire. This will be inserted into the box and of course will be a continuous ground. Okay, provided in the kit also is a cable adapter that'll attach the last micro and give you actual electrical connections, pigtails, to wire down to the service panel. These wires should go into, and will go into, an actual approved watertight gland, as you can see here. Okay, a close-up shows our cable coming into our seal-tight gland connector, and a little close-up also of the wiring shows where they'll connect L1 and L2. This is going to be your high voltage. Also, there's a neutral, the N, white wire, and then this orange wire, L3, it's unused and should just be capped off. All right, the installer now will need to find the centers of each module and mark the rail where those centers land. That will be the spot where we're going to mount the microinverter. We're using ET180s. I know they're 32-inch centers, so I'll mark 32-inch centers along this rail. In preparation to install the modules and the microinverters, as we said, we're using IronRidge extruded railing system, which uses an inverted stainless steel 1/4-20 bolt. So as you can see here, I've got one bolt installed for the end clamp for the first module, followed by 2 bolts for the micro, and then a mid-clamp bolt. This exact pattern follows for every module that we'll be installing down the rail. Okay, when mounting the micro, it can actually be mounted either direction up, and it does make a difference because you want the female end of the connector on the end where your connection box is. So we're going to mount our micro with this top side up, and I'm going to just slide it into the mounting rails, and you'll notice I've got that hatch mark where the center of the module will be, so approximately about right there, and just secure it down. Alright, you also will want to refer to the Iron Ridge installation manual for the railings on the amount of torque needed for these bolts. Alright, once we have our micros installed on our rail, we can then proceed with connecting the cables together. We then can connect the first micro to the connection cable going to our connection box. Engaging the two cables together, being sure that they fully lock and the nut is tight. Connect each interconnecting cable between each micro. Of course, our last module will have a blank end, so InPhase provides a blank to insert into that to protect the end. Connect the ground conductor to each InPhase microinverter in the location marked grounding electrode terminal. Refer to the user manual for alternative grounding methods. Grounding clamp screw to 20 inch-pounds. Okay, one very important thing we need to talk about before we cover up the micros with the module, that is to remove an identification sticker on each micro and place it on a installation map provided by InPhase in the orientation of how the modules are laid out on the roof. This will help us assist in monitoring the whole array with the Enlighten system in the future. Alright, we're just about done now, and all we got to do now is attach the module, DC leads, snap them right into the micros. Just like that. Once all your modules are in place, you can torque down your end clamps and your mid clamps. Once again, torquing these down per manufacturer specifications. Well, there you have it. We hope you found this video informative. As you can see, it was pretty simple to install InPhase microinverters. Check back later.